The world is asleep. The intellectuals, the bureaucrats, the clerks who work in offices, are asleep. The laborer is asleep. The woman waiting for her beloved is asleep. But in the repression of the night, there are some people who are awake. There is one who is the thinker, the poet. He calls his friend, shows him his poetry, and asks him to sing. The singer calls the musician. The musician calls the pakhavaj player for rhythm. The dancer then calls somebody to liven her set. Basically, this is what I call a showing, because it's not a lecture, and it's just to show people my work, because my approach to the classical and the contemporary are very different, they're very unique, and I've been at it for very many years, 28 years now, and I have a lot of work, so I like to give people a glimpse of the things that I cannot bring my company to do, and give them a little bit of background as to what the dance really is about. All classical dance forms in what was the Indian subcontinent come from the temples, because the oldest religion of this area was Hinduism. So that is part of our history. And our question is, what do you do with it when you go forward? Can classical dance be called classical dance if it can only stay within a specific format? Or can it be taken from there? We believe it can be taken forward, because we explain Bharatanatyam, as it was done before, as an anagram. So you have bha, which means bhav, which is the expression. R is for rag, which is your melody. Ta is tal, your rhythm. And natyam means drama, because without drama, there is nothing to put on stage.
Well, I was wondering how today's performance would work out, with some live and some with music, and the workshop work, which is at a different level, and then on the screen, because one feels, there is so much difference, not only in our dance but even in our music. When you have seen the person live and you've heard a musician and you're right there, and the flow of what I can just say, rabta between the audience and the musician, it is something so live. When you just hear the same person's CD singing, playing the same music that you heard, it just doesn't have that effect. And I think with dance, it's more, visibly so. वो हम लोग कहते हैं ना, जिंदा नाच गाना, generally in a somewhat derogatory way, it's not the good thing. But seeing on the screen is, however good it is, it's never the same.
Tare
a small little piece. This is just a small demonstration out of 8 pieces. We're going to show you 2 little snippets. It's informal, so I'm going to be counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and 8. Dha tit kit dhinna tinna 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 dhag na dhinak din tirikit tuna katta tirikit 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 dhag na dhinak din.
In fact, out of all that was shown today, the only thing that goes back to the time when she was already no longer my student, her own self, but we were working together. And I always look back to that as a wonderful time because we would be, brainstorming each other. And then if there was something I wanted to do with, I wasn't able, no other student was able to do it at that level. And then she would sometimes say to me, "Nahi, Ami, this piece is boring, change it." So it was very lively, it was really lovely, and I've missed that. But I have now got some students who are getting about to that stage, and that is also, it's coming back in a way.
Tirikit dhinna tinna dha 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 tirikit dhinna tinna. The crowd was very nice and they were very receptive, and they were a little quiet. I expected more questions, but otherwise it was a very nice evening for me.